Today, we're going to take a look at 7 tips to a successful investment deck. We're going to look at, does this pitch deck we're about to review identify the business plan goals? Do they know their audience? Do they understand the market? Have they identified needs and roadblocks? Will they know what sets the business apart? Will they introduce a team of products and create a summary? We're going to find out coming up.
It's only entertainment.
Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, capital markets analyst and host of your Cannabis Business podcast. Today we got Kat Glogowski. She's an angel investor and attorney. All right, Kat, let's take a look at this pitch deck from Ramalan, a holistic approach to cannabis real estate development. Neither one of us have seen this. Isn't that right?
That is correct.
This will be the first time taking a look at this. And so we're going to judge this on 7 tips to a successful investment deck. The problem statement right off the bat, they want to legalize cannabis products to a surge in demand, but it remains largely untapped. Right off the bat, I would say that that's not the problem. There's plenty of cannabis. It's just not good. So I would change that problem statement. They say that cannabis markets need brand awareness and quality, especially products, and that there's gaps in supply. Well, that's any new emerging market. Like, don't say that there's a gap in supply in Oregon or Washington or Oklahoma, because there's not.
My question here, Josh, is the immediately preceding slide says real estate development. And here they're talking about marketing and it just immediate disconnect. Maybe I'm missing something. Let's proceed.
Yeah. And maybe some of this is going to be the real estate is going to help fill all of these things. We'll see.
Sure.
So the solution, they're going to build a greenhouse facility to enable the solution, known for its potency and efficacy and superior products. Tell that to Canopy Growth, who spent $250 million on greenhouses and literally had to give it away. Don't think that growing a lot is the problem here. I think that's, for 2022, this deck reads a lot like 2019.
I agree. Because supply is not the issue anymore.
No. And maybe in a limited location when it first rolls out, like New York, Arizona, but there's nothing you can do about that because you're not going to grow this fast enough to, anyways. So they're going to have this land and real estate development to help enable spirit nations. Now, if spirit has anything to do with Indian reservations, I'm highly interested for a number of reasons. One, they can do tobacco blunts and do a lot more things outside of the regulatory system if they wanted to. Most of them are agreeing to other state rules, although I don't think they have to. We'll see where this goes, though, because it's called Geronimo property. So I'm assuming this is an Indian reservation.
We'll see. They haven't said yes or no yet, but it does imply a Native American connection. So we'll see.
Construction growth. Building a greenhouse facility, more than 120 years experience with infrastructure, largest infrastructure enablers in the U.S., aggressive schedules. So they're going to have strict quality control. So it's 127,000 square feet. They're going to have greenhouses, mechanical shed, UV transmitting walls with lower energy, I guess, higher yields.
Okay. That's kind of a basic setup for a greenhouse. So I'm waiting for the secret sauce, Josh. Slide 7.
Yeah, me too. Light depth, HVAC, rolling benches. I like how people put this as like, this is I visited a farm where somebody literally wouldn't let me take a picture of their rolling benches because they thought that was their IP. That's their secret. Airflow fans, vertical flow, whatever. I don't see any AI. There's not a whole lot of automated. This SunSense is not a huge automated controller. I think I had probably something better in 2015 for automation. This is all standard stuff I'm seeing. LED lights. Those were a conspiracy theory in 2015. No one thought you could grow cannabis with LED lights back then. There we go. Finally, something like unique. We got the tribally positioned grassroots. So that gives them an advantage. They haven't said why yet. They've got tribal officials, cannabis experts, and trying to do legal compliance.
Excellent. At least they acknowledge they have to do compliance. That's good.
Yeah, there's a tax strategy. So we'll see how they're able to loop that in. Ooh, total addressable market.
Woohoo! Is it billions and billions, Josh?
Yeah.
Please tell me.
Yeah, market is going to be worth billions. Okay. Their target market is Arizona. They also like Colorado and Nevada. California is maybe a distant long-term target in their audience. Health clinics, dispensaries, and commercial plazas. I have no idea what Arizona's laws are, but I probably would guess that commercial plazas are not going to be a thing, and health clinics it's too soon for that.
Yeah. Unless they're growing medical. Okay.
Unless this is on tribal land.
Yeah, maybe.
Some competitive advantages. Here we go. Slide 13, finally. So unique advantages is that the current scenario, they've got longer conversion go-to-market cycles, leveraging partnerships for quick deployment.
This is very interesting. As you pointed out, slide 13, Spirit Nations does not compete with retailers and distributors in the cannabis market. That might be true as far as if they're tribal and they're on tribal land, which they said earlier in the slide deck that they were. But even if you're on tribal land, you still have competition off tribal land. So I'm not really, Josh, one of my big complaints is that they don't ever talk about their competition in a bold statement of we have no competitors. Let's see. Let's give them a chance to finish strong, Josh.
Yeah, so they'll still need a license because they're trying to just fill the gaps in supply. So that's why they're saying they don't compete. They're just positioned to complement the industry when they need products filled. So see about that. There was a lot of people who came in the industry at first, like Maramed. They came in as just to help with other licensees, and then they came in and just bought licenses and became a company themselves. So we'll see how that turns out. Unique value proposition. They've got the latest tech, apparently, custom climate, and a strategic position. Damn. I just don't see that latest tech. I don't see, like vertical integrated agriculture and AI and automation. I mean, custom climate that's normal. And I don't see Arizona as being strategic. It's 117 degrees in Arizona. I just don't see that being a unique value proposition. I don't want to smash their hopes, but this is like Florida, where this is not going to be a spot that you grow flower long term.
And I like the graphic that they provided, which is actually they're growing lettuce. And hopefully they're making an analogy to devil's lettuce and trying to poke a joke in there. I'm going to give them credit for showing a picture of lettuce in their slide deck, Josh.
All right, so they've got some strategic partnerships. That's good. They're going to go through their market through some partners and dispensaries. Mint Cannabis, that's owned by some athletes, retired athletes. Cureleaf is huge. So they've got some decent partners in there, I suppose.
I question this. If they're a startup and they're looking for money to build a greenhouse, how are they already partners with something the size of Curaleaf?
Right. And maybe we'll get to see who the partners are, who owns it, how they got to that. Because I don't know why these guys would want to get involved with that too. So yeah, we'll see. Some of the milestones, they were formed with the objective to provide the best cannabis products while adhering to tribal roots. Then they did a real estate investment trust with 40 acres. They have a seed relationship, and then they entered into a partnership with Spirit Nations earlier this year. So they're leasing. They have a land lease model. They will lease 5 acres of land for $50,000 a month, or wholesale cannabis at $840 a pound. Okay. So they're inviting other people to their land to grow. That's interesting.
Okay.
Um, 3 phases for the roadmap is to build biomass and develop a seed bank and genetics. And then after that, improve their technology, open an entertainment facility. Uh-huh. Okay. And expand into other states and have a campus. This whole thing about entertainment facilities, I heard that from Cliff Robinson. I've heard that from Mike Tyson. I've heard that from so many people that want to open up these giant educational facilities, and never works out.
Not until they legalize cannabis consumption lounges, Josh.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like Vegas is doing that. So this could be a good spot if they're looking at Vegas, Colorado. I think Denver has some type of licenses for consumption. I don't know about Arizona. But here's the team: CEO Kenneth Lamberson. Looks like he was in finance. The co-founder has some experience in tribal DeFi. And then the CEO of Ramalan life insurance. Okay. I don't understand how they got a hold of of Curaleaf. I really don't. Maybe it was just on the tribal. I'm going to go with Andrew here, Andrew Ayers of Spirit Nation, and say that it was enticing enough to get involved with tribal cannabis.
I am not seeing any cannabis experience on their board at all.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that they talk about finance. I like the fact that they talk about law. I like the fact that one of the board members, one of the founders, is involved with working with tribes already. So you don't have to establish that relationship. That's good. I question the value of psychology when it comes to cannabis. I would recommend that they beef up their team slide quite a bit to address the qualifications that are actually needed to run a business.
Let's see if the second half of this team's got anything. There's American Indian Agricultural Bureau. There's a doctor on here. Sioux Nation of Indians Council, 15 years experience in tax. So yeah, no cannabis. This is very familiar to like Tilray. Brandon Kennedy kind of coming in saying, oh, we're just going to do this thing up in Canada and we're going to be a CPG company, consumer product goods. And didn't work out for them very well.
Look at these slides.
Got some financial projections.
I love projections.
Profit after tax, they think they're going to get 77% growing for profit.
Ooh.
I'd like to see like where they're getting those numbers from, because that's not what any of the production facilities I'm seeing. They're not walking away with 77% profit margins.
No, they are not. Even if they use solar greenhouses to grow, they still have water. Okay, they did mention earlier in the slide deck that they have water rights on the land that they have in Arizona. Okay, so you get rid of utilities. What about labor? Just cost of goods sold. Just simple You know, who's gonna check it? Who's gonna rotate it? Who's gonna fertilize it? Who's gonna pick it? Who's gonna dry it?
Mhm.
Who's gonna trim it? You're not gonna hit 77%. It's just not a
Yeah.
reality.
I think their revenue is fairly conservative though. 135 million in 2026. I could see them tripling that. 300 million is not a lot in 1 year to grow. It's not, but their profit after taxes and margins is really unrealistic. So um, they're gonna figure that one out.
Yeah. What happens when they lose their first indoor, wholly hermetically sealed crop to spider mites?
I really like Panacea's blunt sticks, 3.5 grams of in this blunt, and I haven't been able to buy it since May, and nobody knows why. So either they don't like the continuous sales at the store because I go when it's 30% off and I buy it for $18 instead of $25. So maybe they stopped providing it to that store for that reason, or they have a spider mite issue and they haven't been able to produce anything. So yeah, when these farms have issues, it really kind of throws the consumer off, and then they find the next best thing and never go back. They have an ass slide. That's great. We rarely see that. They want $120 million to accomplish their goals. Half of that is going to go towards a greenhouse. Very little to R&D or genetics. They want to acquire that property. So basically 84% is going towards property. And I think that's a terrible investment. It's my opinion that grow is a race to the bottom in terms of profit margins, and you wouldn't want to sink all of that money in looking at the history and what happened to Canada and people basically giving it away. So take your money and be a distressed asset buyer, be kind of a REIT or something, wait for somebody else to make this mistake and then buy it from them, because this is going to be a financial mistake. We've already seen it. We've already seen it in Canada. We were seeing it all over the place. This is a bad business plan for 2022. This is a great business plan for 2019 if it was able to implement right away. I still like the idea of the Native American aspect of it, but they don't even go into that. They don't even talk about like blunts or cannabis cafes or like what they can do and why. Like, I'm the one promoting the Native American aspect of this business plan, not them. They haven't even talked about that, but it's just because I know what's going on, where I can be like, oh, there's still a lot of value to this, but I don't think they know that. They're just simply going after a grow. And this is 2022. I don't think there's an appetite for this business plan at this point in time.
I think that this is a dated concept. I agree with you 100%, Josh. They just missed the boat. We have seen these mega growers, let's just call it a mega grow. 127,000 square feet is a mega grow. They just fail. Aurora, all of their greenhouses fail. Canopy, fail. You cannot put all of your eggs in one basket with this massive crop. If there's an issue, it takes the whole thing down.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're successful. Great. You have tons of weed flooding the market the same day. And all that does is drive the price down. It does not drive the price up. And then you have the indoor growing issues. How are you going to control the pests and the mildew? And you do not have the technology that other people do. Where's your IU drone system monitoring each individual plant for nutrients, water, and sunlight? I just think that they wholly missed the mark here, Josh. We can go through our 7 leaves, but I don't know how far they're going to get.
Let's do it. Identifying business plan goals is the first to the 7 tips as a successful investment deck. I think they met that goal. They want to take $120 million and build a facility to grow. So we will give them a full point on that. What about number 2? Do they know their audience?
If they are going for an investor audience, they did not talk about competition. They did not talk about any possible roadblocks here. If they're going for a cannabis audience, they do not know the market. So no, 0.
Okay. For the investor audience, I'm going to give them a quarter of a point for the investor audience, because they did give us an ask slide. So I feel like they do know the investor audience, but I don't think they understand the market right now. Like, they built that slide for a long time ago. So for number 3, understanding the market, they understand the market in a very basic way circa 2019. So maybe that's another quarter of a point. I'll be generous, unless you want to give them even more than that.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
at this stage of cannabis investing and cannabis legalization in the United States in various ways, shapes, and forms that it is, this slide is not up with the current situation. So I do not think they understand the market.
Yeah. All right. Needs and roadblocks. Definitely didn't have any roadblocks with, they didn't mention any like getting a license and how that interaction was going to happen. They didn't mention federal versus the Indian tribe and the roadblocks are going to have with the tribe. I mean, nothing. So did they mention any needs that's going to be worth looking at?
They did address the fact that they have water rights to the property that they want to buy. So other than that, I did not see that. They certainly didn't identify any roadblocks. Needs, what they need is people that know cannabis involved in this company is what they need. And they did not identify that need at all.
And then knowing what sets the business apart. I listed off what sets the business apart, but they didn't. So I can't give them any points. If you want to override that and give them points, let me know. But I don't think they said really what sets them apart.
No.
Yeah. They did introduce the team. I got to give them a full point for that, as well as the brands and what they wanted to do. Although they don't have any cannabis folks on board, which is a rough uphill battle for them if they end up moving forward on this project. They kind of created a summary with the ask, so that was good. Is that enough for a full point for number 7?
Sure, I'll be kind on the last one. They did have an ask.
So that's 3.5 out of 7. So that's a 50%. So probably a better score than it should have been, simply because this is a really old. Time flies in the cannabis industry. We talk about like dog years, and 2019 doesn't work in 2022. So I think this deck is decent. There's the other opportunity of just selling it to stupid money. Like, roll this out in Arizona, build it up and sell it out to somebody who doesn't know. Like, they're just riding on the back of FOMO. They have no idea, and just sell it to stupid money, sell it to somebody who doesn't know. And then they're the sucker. That's what happens to all of these entry-level cannabis companies and psychedelic companies too. It's a lot of snake oil in the very beginning. So do what you do. I don't know, but 50% for us. So any final words from you, Kat?
Some constructive feedback would be to look at your competition. And one of the reasons that investors want information about your competition is to show that you have looked at your competition. This slide deck and your approach to this business plan indicates that you are not familiar with your competition at all, including the massive failures that others using this business model have encountered. So my constructive feedback is to go back, look at your competitors, and set yourself apart. How are you different from 125,000 square foot indoor greenhouse grows that have failed?
Yeah.
Tell us, and maybe you can proceed further. That's my constructive feedback, Josh.
That was very nice. All right. I think with that, we're going to have to roll this one up. So I want to thank my guests, Kat Glogowski, angel investor and attorney. Thanks again for giving us 7 tips to a successful investment deck.
Thanks, Josh.
Appreciate it.
With that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is The Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out.
Don't forget to smash that like button on your way out and check out these other videos that we've got.